What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video here on CFL Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans. I'm joined with Carter, as always, and today we are going over the Week 2 previews for the CFL 2022 season. Sit back, buckle up, grab some snacks. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Carter, why don't you take us through the first matchup? Let's jump right into it, and if I'm not mistaken, that is going to be Montreal versus the Toronto Argonauts.
So I think it's going to be really exciting to see how this starts. Really now that, Toronto obviously had that first week off. Now we're going to finally get a taste to see with all their new offseason acquisitions, how this starts to mesh, you know what I mean? Because with Ottawa, it meshed pretty good. However, there were a few skips there, although I think as weeks go through, we'll see that mesh together. But for Toronto, I think it'll take some time. I think they'll get a lot better as the game goes on, to be completely frank here. However, I do think they pull it out against Montreal now with Stanback injured. Even though I think Montreal is going to put up quite a fight, I'm really excited to see Andrew Harris, both excited and sad at the same time.
Yeah, me too. That's exactly how I feel. Exactly the same way.
Yeah.
It's like it's a bittersweet. I'm excited to watch him see his next part of his career, but I'm sad it's not continuing his time in Winnipeg. But I've seen him play for both my teams, so I can't complain. Andrew, go try to do something for Toronto. Energize the worst fan base in the CFL. No offense to Toronto Argonauts fans, unfortunately, it's the only reality. They know it, man. Real Argos fans realize it, man. Unfortunately, it's just Toronto is not a good market right now, and hopefully it'll grow and. Hopefully you'll see some BC magic maybe if ownership can get off its ass. But nonetheless, I agree with you, man. I think that this is going to be a really good game, actually. I think it's going to be a sleeper game for potentially game of the week. I think Toronto and Montreal both showed, Toronto, they did not play, obviously, in week 1. I'm trying to recollect myself. But they look good in preseason. I liked what Toronto showed in preseason in week 2 and in week 1. They had some really good matchups. Obviously, going back to preseason week 1, they lost 17 by a score of 23-17 to the Red Blacks, and then they were able to squeak by a win 18-17 over the Ticats in week 2. So going into week 2, technically their first game of the season, I honestly, man, I gotta say, I think Montreal is gonna take this one. I think Montreal looked really good against Calgary. I think they looked really polished, but Calgary just being the juggernaut that they are in the West, they had some gucky runs. They were able to clutch it out down the finish line. I think Montreal takes this game against a Toronto team that's still trying to figure out what they are and gel together the new pieces, like you said. Yeah, so with that being said, Carter, take us to the next game.
Well, we got Winnipeg versus Ottawa. I am worried about this game.
I'm worried too, my friend. I'm worried too.
Because the Bombers, in my opinion, as much as they came out with that win in game 1, they did not prove that they're ready, at least yet. Not that they don't have the pieces. But I mean, we saw everything. We saw missed throws that were just like, where was that going?
Yep.
Receiver wasn't even close to that. We had that. We had our defensive backs just getting beat.
Yep. Safety's getting beat left, right, and center.
And yeah, having your safety get beat is never a good thing.
Nope.
With the receiving core that they got, it makes me worried. It makes me worried. And you know what? Another thing is that, I'll put it this way. This game was really down to the wire for the Bombers in terms of them winning.
Yep.
If they had not missed a convert,
we come back to this point. How many times, Carter, genuinely, how many times will we come back to this point as Bomber fans? Get a real kicker. It's as simple as that. We tried making Mortada work last year. It's not even worth trying this year. And I saw Castillo playing with
we saw half results, so we thought we'd use him for a full game. And he was actually playing half decent, but then he missed a convert, and it's like, okay, well, that's unacceptable I don't care how good he plays, but if he misses a convert, that's brutal.
You can miss a field goal, but you can't miss the convert.
I played on high school teams, and they hit it every time. Every time. They never missed a convert. It's a convert.
I agree.
Especially if you look at a team like Saskatchewan, I don't know if you remember this in the preseason. Henry Nell, third string kicker for the Riders, 46-yard field goal. 46-yard, third string. The Riders have the Blue Bombers of kicking depth in the same way that the Bombers have the running back depth. You know what I mean? Although even that, I found that that Oliveira and Augustine were kind of struggling. Now with Augustine, I actually
Augustine
was a little
barely.
annoyed.
I didn't really like how Augustine wasn't used in that game
Well,
personally.
that's actually more what I was annoyed about. Not with Augustine's performance in that aspect, but the way he was used. It's like with a guy like Augustine, he's got the speed. You should be running play action. You should be running out.
Absolutely.
You should be going for those wide routes. For a guy like Oliveira, who's built like a tank, who's built like Andrew Harris, you have him go up the middle. Augustine takes the wide routes. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I think we can say right now is that if the Bombers want to be able to win this game, a rematch in Ottawa on next Saturday, they're going to need to simply run Johnny Augustine more than 3 carries
run the ball
with 10 yards. 10 yards for Johnny Augustine,
Yep.
17 on 10 carries for Brady Oliveira. That is unacceptable. 1.7? 1.7.
Yeah.
Like, I know Andrew Harris is gone, but, like, this was supposed to be a tandem that was ready, and this was embarrassing. Now, Johnny Augustine is a very skilled guy, and I don't really blame this on Johnny because, like I said, 3 carries, you're not going to really get more than 10 on that unless you have an explosive run.
And like I said, I think it was more of a utilization
Exactly.
thing.
Utilizing the runners
as opposed to
properly
skill.
it comes down to coaching. The players themselves, like Brady did what he could in the opportunities he was given. Same with Johnny, and even same with Claros and Prukop when they ran. But it comes down to it. Rushing this game was just not good. And it needs to be better if they want to have a chance to win.
The only part of the Bombers game that I actually was decently comfortable with was probably the offensive line. Is that Caleros actually had a decent amount of time on most of his plays. Obviously, there was a few times that Ottawa was starting to break through that, but that's going to happen any game. You know, I thought overall they actually did a good job at giving Caleros the time he needed. And I felt that was really imperative considering that, you know, like we just said in the review, he didn't play at all this preseason. So
no, exactly.
I hope he gets going.
Me too. I agree. So, Carter, what are your thoughts going into week 2? Is Winnipeg beating Ottawa? What's happening there?
I really want the Bombers to win, but I don't see it with everything with the way that Mazzoli's been playing and getting energized in front of that hometown crowd, and with Acklin coming in. Acklin, I think, is going to have a bit of a bounce back game here.
I agree.
I think Darvin Adams is going to get a bit more attention. I think Shaq Johnson's going to get a bit more attention. I don't see the evidence that the Bombers are ready for this next game, but you know, they're not going to win every game, so that's.
I agree.
The way it is, and I think they're lucky to win the game that they did, but I don't think they're ready.
I hate to say it too. I hate going against my own team, but just based on what I've seen and from last week, going off of what Ottawa did as well, and just going into a week 2 situation, I just don't see Winnipeg winning this game. Now, do I think they're going to be terrible? No, I actually think Winnipeg will be much improved from where they were in week 1. But I think Ottawa is just going to be much more polished, and they were already the more polished team in week 1. So I think Ottawa, like you said, Carter, just in front of the home fans with the new acquisitions, these guys are going to want to play good, and I think they're going to get a really good result on the field that night if you're an Ottawa Red Blacks fan. So with that being said, I think we're going to leave it with Ottawa beating the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in week 2. That jumps us over to Calgary and Hamilton.
Well, if Hamilton had some trouble in week 1, oh boy, I'm a little concerned about this game. I'm not going to lie. I think Calgary has the chance to blow Hamilton out of the water here. Not that Hamilton's bad, but I'll put it this way. Hamilton's just a better version of Saskatchewan.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's the way I see it.
I think this one's going to be short and sweet for previewing it because I feel the exact same way. I feel that Hamilton's a good team, but based on that game against Saskatchewan in week 1, they held out as long as they could.
They fought tooth and nail to claw back into that.
But they choked hard in the 4th, and they just ran out of gas, and they were dead on the side of the road. Yeah. So against a Calgary team that did not give up fight, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, and like I said, as much as actually I was talking about, I think the Riders here have more kicking depth, but I don't think they have anyone who comes to the pure raw talent of Rene Paredes.
Exactly.
I think he's the best
probably
kicker in the
top
CFL.
5, top 10 kicker the CFL's ever had.
I was gonna say current. I think he's one.
I think he's definitely up there in the top 10 list potentially based on awards and stats wise. I think he could be, but nonetheless, yeah, I really agree with you. I think Hamilton could make it interesting in the first half, but long run, 4 quarters of football, I do not see Calgary not winning this game. So I'm gonna go with Calgary in week 2 over Hamilton. Carter, you are as well. So with that being said, take us into the final matchup, Carter.
All right. Well, we got the Saskatchewan Roughriders versus the BC Lions.
You mean Edmonton Elks, because the BC Lions, ladies
The
and gentlemen,
Edmonton
are
Elks,
on
sorry.
a off-season
Sorry,
break.
sorry.
That's funny.
I would argue
We're not
that
cutting
the
that
BC
out.
Lions played so well that they own the Elks. And
All right, there we go.
that
Good save.
Saskatchewan
Good,
is playing BC.
good save, my friend. Good save. All right, with that being
Also, I
said,
have a.
take
I was
us
gonna say, I
through
also
it.
have
Take
a
us
photo
through
of the
it.
lines in front of me. Yeah, you know what? I think Edmonton's gonna have a few things that go right this game. I think they're gonna have a lot of things that go wrong. I think Lawler is gonna play better. However, I don't.
Except Lawler can't play better unless Arbuckle plays better.
and you know what? Arbuckle might even play a little better. But is the Elks
So-
defense gonna play better?
That's what I was about to say. I'm like,
Against
see,
this
okay.
Saskatchewan Roughriders?
Could Arbuckle play better? Absolutely. Could that mean that the receivers play better and rushers play better? Yes. But if that offensive line don't play better, if that defense don't play better, if any of those other positions don't play better,
is
they
actually
would
the biggest
done.
concern here.
Dude, not
for
only
the
that, do you know how many
Elks,
picks they threw and how many the missed coverages and everything like that they had? They were bad everywhere, man. Everywhere on both sides of the ball, both sides of the field. They were terrible. So I'm not taking Edmonton in this game. There's no way they're bouncing back from getting a kick ass the way they BC did in week 1.
Yeah,
I'm taking Saskatchewan.
Edmonton right now, in my opinion, is really tanking the power rankings right now. I
Yep.
have them. I probably have them bottom in the league. Seriously, and you know, and it hurts me to say.
And they
it
just
because
paid Lawler, the most expensive quarterback.
the biggest receiver contract in the entire league. Yes, they did.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's see how much money's left to go around for a defense that you need built, because you know, like I don't know. I don't see. I see how the Elks can bounce back a bit from a game like that. Obviously, being rattled up, you know, I'd be pissed off too if I got my ass kicked like that.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to
However,
kick
it's like,
rebound.
is it enough to beat the Riders?
Now, I know
think
Edmonton's
so.
going to be at home, but still. That's the only advantage I'd say they have in this game, is it being a home game for them.
Saskatchewan played pretty well on the road though last year too.
But that's what I'm saying,
So-
exactly. So, you know, I'm at the end of the day, guys, I'm taking Saskatchewan by a landslide in this one. I think it might be another blowout. Not as bad, but I definitely could see it being a 20-point margin again. It could be
Yeah,
really bad.
I think it'll be probably about a 20-point margin. I think it'll be actually quite close.
I think it'll start close. I
than-
think it'll be like the Calgary Saskatchewan game. I think it'll.
You think it's gonna be like a war of
Hamilton
attrition?
Saskatchewan? Exactly. It'll start off close.
Yeah.
I think Edmonton will battle for their home fans' sake as well. But I just don't see Edmonton after that way
Once
they performed in
one
week
goes in,
1.
then
Yeah.
the next, then the next, then the yeah, I can see that happening.
I just we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's my prediction. I'm taking Saskatchewan. So to round out my predictions for week 2, I'm taking Montreal over Toronto. I'm taking Ottawa over Winnipeg. I'm taking Calgary over Hamilton, and I am taking Saskatchewan over Edmonton. Carter, I feel like we almost have identical picks for this week.
The only one is I had Toronto over Montreal. Basically because of the Standback injury. I don't know how well that's going
I
to go.
respect that. We'll have to wait and see. But I don't know.
I'm
Montreal's
taking
look
Ottawa
good.
over Winnipeg. Hurts my soul. I'm taking Calgary
I'm with
over
you,
Hamilton and Saskatchewan over Edmonton. So very
So
simple.
why don't you guys let us know down in the comment section below what your picks are for week 2 of the 2022 CFL season. Thank you so much for watching this video from both me and Carter. We really appreciate all the support and subscribers and just likes and comments and everything you guys have been doing on this channel. It means a lot to see the interaction and support. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Peace, love, and positivity as always. Make sure to subscribe if you are new, regardless of the CFL team that you root for. Have a great rest of your day. Peace, love, and positivity as always. And bye-bye.
Stay in the house.